Burlington Doodlebug. Burlington is the line, not the product. It is a Bachmann Spectrum Doodlebug, HO scale. I picked it up for like $21 off eBay, and it was in worse condition than I thought. So we got one missing marker light on the shell here. Otherwise, the shell looks like it's in really nice condition. See if I can zoom in on the front end. There we go. Yeah. So, but the shell seems to be in pretty good condition. And, but the challenge was the chassis. We got the double drive shaft. We got a flywheel here. This goes to a linkage that connects to the power truck in the front. Here's the drive shaft here. Let me show that to you. Where's my tweezers at? So this is the drive shaft. Focus. So that's my drive shaft. Now this is the linkage that connects to the front power truck, and it seemed like it was slipping. So I took a piece of rubber. It was actually like a rubber tube kind of thing. It goes to these auto inject. This is an auto injector for some medication I have to take every couple weeks. So I took the rubber center tube out and I trimmed it down and made a nice sleeve to fit over that so that it would be stronger there. And then the other connection, this piece right here, this is the piece that connects to the motor, but it was cracked along its length. So I glued it, took another piece of that rubber, heavy, thick tubing kind of stuff, and made a sleeve to wrap around that to strengthen that up. When I put all of this in place the way it goes inside of here, I wasn't getting any movement. This would light up. You could tell there was power going to it. So what I did was, using a trick from my RDCs, I took some of this fuel line hosing and created linkage from the drive shaft here, to the power truck here. It worked, except it was running really slow and bogged down, and suddenly it started smoking. So let me show you something here. You can probably see the darkness right there from too much current going through these resistors or capacitors, whatever those are. So what I ended up doing was opening this up, took this completely apart here, and all the grease inside, it was that bright green grease, but it was like tar and nothing was moving. So I had to clean it, scrape it, used alcohol, break it down, wiped it over and over. I mean, I felt like I spent an hour cleaning that thing up so thoroughly. Put it all back together, and I didn't have any grease to replace what I took out. So I used some of my wife's Vaseline. So don't tell her, that's a secret between you and me. But I took my wife's Vaseline and used it as a lubricant inside there. Put it all back together, put it on the track, and got it moving again. But there was a problem. It would only go in reverse, it would not go forward. My guess is that these got fried and it affected the direction. It only allows current to flow one direction because these got fried and interrupted. So I am going to go in here and take this circuit board out, because this is a circuit board for DCC. This is a dummy plug. You pull this dummy plug out, and I can't get the dummy plug out, but I'll pull that out, probably make it available for anybody who wanted to buy it on eBay or whatever, or at a train show. But anyway, I'm going to take this whole circuit board off and hardwire from the wheels, from pickup lines right to the motor. Now with this circuit board, the front light only comes on when it goes forward, and the passenger section here lights up when it's moving forward. When you put it in reverse, only this lights up, but the front does not. To override that situation without a circuit board, I'm going to put an LED in the front so that the front light will only run in the forward direction. And then when it goes in reverse, it will turn off, but this light will still maintain to work whether it's forward or back. So I'm going to have to get a soldering iron, start just dismantling this circuit board here, and get this thing hardwired back together. There was one more thing. What was it? Oh, the clips go across here are broken. I have one here that I glued back together. This is the clip here that holds the top of that motor mount together. And this little hole in the top is the screw where the board would go in would mount to it. So I don't really need these with a hole in it now, since I'm not going to use that board, but I've had these break on me before. So I'm going to go into Tinkercad and redesign these. Have my buddy Ron Kaler print maybe a half dozen or a dozen of them, so I have plenty on hand in case anybody needs them. And then I'll make those available for anybody who needs help with their Doodlebug. So after I get all this rewired, I will come back and, well, what I'll do is I'm going to disconnect all the wires, and then I'm going to test this motor, make sure it works in both directions. Because if the motor works in both directions, I don't know why it would only work in one direction. Then we know the problem is in the circuit board, and I can get this motor hardwired and running again. And, oh, I was also going to mention, I told you how one of these marker lights is missing. I'm going to go into Tinkercad and try and redesign some new marker lights and have Ron print me up 4 of them so that all 4 match on this. Because I'm not sure if I'm good enough to make an exact match for these ones. And Bachmann doesn't have these available. So it ends up, all that smoking yesterday did fry this circuit board. So I took my soldering iron, separated all the wires. Now I'll rewire this for analog, and it can later be readapted for DCC, but I just have a analog layout. So let's make sure, because with the circuit board it would only run in reverse, it would not run in forward. So this was my way also of checking to make sure the motor was in good shape. So let's give this thing a test. All right, here we go. All right, so here we have our wheels are moving forward. So we know that's back working again because we eliminated the circuit board that was controlling the energy flow. Reverse the direction, and now it goes in reverse. So the thing I have to do next is I need to rewire this whole the motor, and this is the light here. This white wire is the light that goes to the passenger section. Now this will always be on, whether the Doodlebug runs in forward or reverse. What I will do on the front for the headlamp here, on the front of the Doodlebug, what I will do for that is I will wire an LED light. And the LED only lights up in one direction. So I'll wire it so that the LED light lights up when it moves in forward, and when it goes in reverse, it won't light up. Though I have seen, and if anybody knows why this does it, please comment for me, that when you put it in reverse, sometimes the headlight will flash. Just, a pulsing flash, not like a fast flash or anything. So if you know why that does that and you're more intellectually sound when it comes to model railroad electronics, please leave me a comment and help me learn a little more about that. So that's where we are with this right now. Okay, so I got my 3D printed clips for the top of the motor mount, and this, when it's mounted back here, actually the insulating paper goes down, DCC board across it, and the screw goes through there, holds the DCC circuit board in place. But Ron printed these up for me. I'm really happy with how they turned out. You can see here where I glued it back together where the original clip broke. So I tried to redesign it. I made one error on it, and that was the clip was a little too big. So you can see the pencil lines here and here where I had to sand it to make it fit properly into the notch. But I strengthened it right there, and Ron set me up with quite a few extra pieces here. So if anybody needs one, contact me and I'll see what I can do to help you. So I got this package in from Bachmann. These are the parts for the Doodlebug. Let's see what we have here. Packing slip indicates 2 side frames in black, 1 drive shaft, like I really needed another one, 1 cow catcher, which I did need, and 2 front couplers. I did notice that one of my other Doodlebugs does not have a front coupler. So it looks good with just the pilot, but I want to have the front coupler. So here we go. Here's the drive shaft. Not like I really needed another one. Here are the 2 side plates. Perfect, so I can finish that. Up on the Doodlebug, there's my front cow catcher. And these are my 2 front couplers. So I'm looking forward to getting that Doodlebug put back together. Okay, I just want to put a tiny bit of glue on here. I really don't want to fix it too solidly, because if I have to work on this truck later, it will be a challenge to get to the wheels and the electric pickups on this. So I'm just going to put a tiny dab on there, and that way once it's in place, that'll keep it more secure. Let's do the other side now. All right. Like Brill cream, a little dab will do ya. And if you're old enough to know what Brill cream is, we're in the same age bracket probably. Brill cream, a little dab will do ya. Okay. So there we go. We've got the front side plates on. So now let's get the pilot out here. There's my pilot. There's my pilot. All right. So here's our pilot. Let's get this in place. And I have not had to put these on in a while. I'm going to put just a little dab of glue right here to help it hold on to the shell, but I don't want to, again, put it on too solidly. It might be problematic down the road for me. All right. There we go. All right. We got that in place. Nice. And now we got to get the front coupler put on there. And it just reminds me, I noticed that on the back, I love this articulated coupler box, but it takes a special cover. So I'm going to have to order that from Bachmann, but I'm going to see if I need any other parts for my other trains, because I don't want to pay a massive amount of shipping for an inexpensive little part. All right, so here is our front coupler. Here we go. There it is. Just gonna dry fit it first. See how I'll be bummed out if I find out that this should have been installed before the pilot was put on. See if I can get that to just press in. Oh, it does. Just slides right in there. There we go. All right. But, okay. Pull that out just a little bit because it's, I don't know if you can see in there. Can I get some extra light on this? If I push it in too far, it hits the front truck. The back end of it hits the front truck and interferes with this pivoting. I don't want to interfere with that. So I've got to pull that out. There's my tweezers at. Take these tweezers. See, if you look closely, you can see that pilot, or the coupler shaft goes through, and you can see it right in there, and it's rubbing against see that little gap there? We need a bigger gap than that. We don't want this to interfere with the function on curves. See if I can pull that out some more. Yeah, that's better, but still not to my liking. There we go. That's better. All right. It clears the truck. Push that back on. So I see a little, looks like a booger of glue on there. See if I can get that off. Okay. All right, so there we go. Got the front pilot and the front coupler on. Got this on. All right. Let's put this on the track. That's on. This is off back here. All right, let's take this baby for a test run up and down the track here. All right, forward. Got the headlight going. All right. Now we got a nice looking Doodlebug here. And I will take some photos of it and post those at the end of the video.